TGS 2025 was actually a very good time for the Ananta community. We finally, after 2 years of waiting, got gameplay for Ananta, and it looks as promising as it was revealed to us back in 2023. But as cool as the gameplay and everything was at TGS, there are still a few things that feel missing in the game, and I wanted to, in this video, talk about some of them and share my thoughts on whether or not they actually get added to the game or not. So with that being said, let's get into the video. Hey, what is up guys, it's Mordant. Now, if you're interested in news videos, challenge videos, discussion videos, and lore videos for any of the games that you can see on screen right now, then make sure you subscribe to the channel. I also have a Silver Palace video coming up after this one, so make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss it. You can also follow me on Twitter and join the Discord if you want to talk with me directly. But with that being said, let's talk about one of the first things that was missing from Ananta at Tokyo Game Show 2025. When people saw the gameplay for Ananta for the very first time, one complaint that I saw from a few people is that the combat would get boring very fast. Now, I do want to say that a lot of these people were people who are used to the Genshin Wuthering Waves style of combat, where we have one skill and one ultimate for the characters, and a lot of them wanted that kind of a system to come back. I don't want that system to come back because Ananta wouldn't be unique then, but I do think that it can get boring if the only thing that you can do is punch, throw things at enemies, switch your weapons, do all of that. Yes, it is cool. I'm not saying that it's not cool to be able to do all of these things, but it will get repetitive over time. And after the devs talked about a leveling system that is tied to the jobs that characters could have in the game, it got me thinking, what is a way that they could make the combat feel a little bit more interesting over time? Well, let's, like I've done in some of my other videos, take a look at the inspiration for the game. Now, we know that a lot of the combat in this game comes from the Arkham games, Spider-Man games, and a few other games, right? So, what's one thing that these games have in common? A skill tree. So what if Ananta is actually planning on adding a skill tree to the game, where pressing in a certain combination of buttons will give you a different attack animation and basically allows you to chain attacks in ways that would be cool as hell. That's one thing that Ananta was missing at TGS, and I really believe that that is what is going to be coming with this leveling system, because when they mentioned the leveling system, it made no sense to me why they would be adding a leveling system to the game if there's no benefit to it. But then if there's a skill tree that allows you to unlock different abilities, it doesn't only have to be combat related abilities, it can be other things. For example, Taffy has the bunny bike. What if on her skill tree we're able to unlock a skill that allows her bunny bike to be able to ride up walls? This would basically allow her to be able to move a little bit faster when climbing on walls and doing some other things. What if we have the MC being able to do some more combos that we see in the Insomniac Spider-Man games, but then have all of these be unlocked from the skill tree? I think you can start to see the vision that I have. Now, there are some disadvantages to adding a skill tree to the game. For combat, it means that you have to animate every single one of these strings, and this game doesn't have one character, it doesn't have two characters, it doesn't have three characters. Currently, I think we have more than 8 characters off the top of my head, and that is a lot of characters to be doing a lot of animations for. It doesn't really give them a lot of time to work on other things in the game if that's what they're going to do. Now, the team that is making this game is very large, so they can probably just, with division of labor, actually do that, but I don't think it's a smart move. So I was trying to think of a way that we could potentially fix this little bit of a problem, and the first idea that came to my mind is to systematically roll out more and more updates to the skill tree. Now, we know that the main source of revenue for Ananta isn't actually going to be character gacha. So what if every single patch that the game gets, we also get new things that we can unlock in the skill tree? It's not the most glamorous of ideas, but I think it's an idea that could work. Let me hear your ideas about a potential skill tree coming to the game down in the comments. Now, before I actually move on to the next point, I do want to make something clear. The game doesn't absolutely need to have a skill tree, because take for instance Grand Theft Auto 5. This is a game where the only form of combat, at least hand-to-hand combat, that you can do is basically some basic punches. You can switch guns, you can do other things. You don't even have the capability to throw things around like you can in Ananta, but the game has stayed fun for 10 plus years, mainly due to GTA Online. But still, even in GTA Online, to my knowledge, you can't do anything like having a skill tree. So even if they don't decide to add like a skill tree to the game, a lot of people are still going to enjoy the combat. But I'm just saying, this is a way that we can actually like improve the combat and make it better. Now, the wanted system is something that was very strange to me that wasn't in TGS, and I'm sure that they're probably going to add it, because back in January of this year, there were people who tested the game, and I made a video covering that, but they mentioned that there was a wanted system in the game. So the fact that it's not here is very strange, but I do believe that they're planning on adding it. Now the question is, will they implement it the same way they implemented the job system? For example, we know that Richie and Laikaya are most probably going to be NCCA officers, so they're most probably going to have very similar mechanics where they can arrest civilians and do a bunch of other stuff. But then what if, for them specifically, if they commit any crimes, they get their wanted level increase faster than other characters? Like, think about it. Police officers abusing their power and doing a ton of things that they're not supposed to do, of course they're going to get nabbed faster than other people. It's an idea. I'm not actually saying that it's what's going to be there, but if you think about the job system, it sort of like makes sense. Like, I would find it very funny if the devs actually did that. But let me hear your thoughts about how you would want to implement the wanted system in the game, especially considering the jobs that the characters have as well. Replayable missions is something that I don't think is actually going to come to the game, but I'm still going to try to pitch it in. So we know that one of the inspirations for this game is the Grand Theft Auto games, and GTA 5 has multiple endings. Now, depending on what you choose on your first run through of the story of the game, that becomes your canon ending. And even though you can go back and replay the other missions, they don't count to your main save file. And I was thinking, wouldn't it be nice, since Ananta has like a friendship stroke dating system in the game, that your friendship with some characters or your interactions with certain characters can influence the kind of ending that you may get for a story in the game, and then give players the ability to go back and actually replay those missions and give them the ability to be able to change the choices that they had already made, okay, and see what the alternative ending could have been. Of course, you don't allow them to actually be able to save the alternative ending to themselves. Maybe just keep it aside as a trophy for themselves or something. But I was just thinking about it, and I'm thinking that that's a good system. Now, I don't think that this kind of a system would go very in-depth, because this is a live service game, most likely. Them doing this kind of a thing is not really something that I can see a live service game doing. Even if they were to add it, it will probably be at a very basic level, but I think even having it at a basic level would actually be very nice. Now, honestly speaking, this part of the video is going to be a little bit of a rant, but yesterday, from the day that I'm recording this video, I finally got reminded to check the controls of Ananta on the PS5 controller. And when I checked, my first reaction was, I really hope that these buttons can be changed. So, what are the controls that we have? By the way, before I actually continue, if you guys want to actually see these controls for yourself, head over to the Discord channel. In the Ananta general section, that's where I have it. Another part of it is actually in the Ananta lore speculation, because that was where the question was asked, and then I remembered to actually check the buttons. But basically, just head over there and you can see it for yourself. And also, I sent the screenshots of the controller so you can actually translate yourself, if you're actually able to translate Chinese, to let us know if any of these buttons are actually wrong. R1 is used for attacking, L1 is used for blocking, L2 is for telekinesis, R2 is used for drifting when you're in a car. On the D-pad, I don't think up is assigned to anything, at least from what I could see. Right is for the weapon wheel, left is for the system roulette, whatever that is, I don't know. Down is what you use to switch characters. As for the shape buttons, we have triangle for the finishing move or to be able to throw your weapon. You have circle to dodge or to dash. You have the X button or the cross button to jump. And you have square, which according to Google Translate says powerful attack or interaction. So basically it's your skill button. And like I said, my first reaction when I saw this was I really hope these buttons can be changed, because I cannot see myself trying to attack someone and all I'm pressing is R1. Give me the ability to map my skill to R1 or something. Like, I want my attack button to be on square. This is probably just a me thing, but Ananta, please just give us the ability to actually be able to change the button mappings. At least the core ones, like the attack button and all of that, because I'm not looking forward to pressing R1 and L1 in order to block. That is going to be so counterintuitive to me. It makes literally no sense. It makes literally no sense. I really hope they consider changing those buttons around. Alright, so that should bring the video to a close. Now, thank you all so much for the support on all of my Ananta videos in the past. If there's still some video on Ananta that you want me to make sure to leave it down in the comments. If I see it as interesting enough, I might actually consider making the video. But of course, don't forget, if there's any news on Ananta or anything, I will still do my very best to cover it. Make sure to follow me on Twitter so you don't miss out on any updates that I put there. You can also join the Discord channel to be able to discuss with me there, and you can also share any updates that you have on the game on there. So yeah, why aren't you in the Discord? But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching. I will catch you guys in the next video. Take care, guys.